Hey everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. So the big story, at least if depending on who you talk to, but what you're going to see throughout the media is Shedeur Sanders wasn't taken in the first round of the NFL draft. Everybody's shocked. Everybody's surprised. I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I had been, throwing this idea around for a while when, there was discussion about the Browns potentially taking him at 2, and I was like, "Guys." And then when I heard the comparison, Andy Dalton, who was a great quarterback, but he was taken in the second round. And to be honest with you, there's no shame in being taken in the second round. It's just the fact that he's got the Sanders name to him. He's Deion's son. He was a high-profile quarterback at Colorado. And, okay. But the signs were there for anybody who thinks that this is a shocking thing. And Mel Kiper, and I wasn't able to watch the ESPN broadcast based off what I was saying. Mel Kiper was losing his mind that Shedeur Sanders was falling as much as he did because he had him ranked just about the same level as Cam Ward. And Cam Ward went first overall. Also, Cam Ward completely, like with everything that happened, you almost forget that he was taken first overall, which is kind of insane. He was the first overall pick in the NFL draft. And it's almost like an afterthought because, hey, who wasn't taken? But the warning signs were there that this was very possible that Shedeur Sanders was not going to be a first-round pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Red flag for me right out of the gate. When they announced who was attending the draft, I think it was like 16 or 17 guys that ended up being there. Shedeur Sanders was not on that list. Travis Hunter was. Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are basically best friends. They've played with each other for 3 years. They've known each other for a long time. Deion's effectively like a second father to Travis Hunter. So why did Shedeur Sanders decide to stay at home in Texas as opposed to going to the NFL draft in Green Bay? He knew he wasn't going to get taken in the first round. He knew it. He was telling you that right there, that he knew and his team knew that, hey, he wasn't getting taken. Also, the signs were there in the last month. There was so much discussion about Shedeur going second or third. All that started to back off. You started to see reports from NFL media people. Tom Pelissero basically put out a quote from an anonymous executive who basically said it was the worst interview he had. He was very pompous, very arrogant, very aloof, very in his own head. And so, listen, I'm not going to say the kid isn't talented, but there are some drawbacks to it, and that's part of the reason why he fell. Also, he's not that spectacular, okay? And, frankly, if he didn't have the Sanders name, this might have fallen even further down the board. It's just the fact that he is Deion's son, okay? And he played in a high-profile program. But let's be real. Him and Travis Hunter, as great as they were together, Travis Hunter is the much better NFL draft prospect. And again, I'm bummed that he's not going to be a Cleveland Brown, but the Browns made the right decision in that regard. And you can go watch all that stuff if you're a Browns fan here on the channel. But yeah, this is not surprising that Shedeur Sanders fell. Now, where he goes is going to be very interesting. The Browns are going to have potentially 2 cracks at him, depending on if, he gets past 33, and the Browns will have another shot at 36. I think the Raiders are potentially, the Saints are potentially involved. The Giants passed on him twice. They passed on him at 3, and then they moved up to get Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. That was eye-opening, that Jackson Dart was the second quarterback taken in this class. But again, this was something that was talked about amongst NFL executives and scouting people, that Shedeur Sanders is not as good as he was propped up to be. Everybody seemed to think, and now you've got the RG3s of the world, and you got all these people who are outraged, maybe some of them claiming racism because Jackson Dart got taken by the Giants. And it's like, guys, what are we doing? The guy is talented. But to me, this is a far cry from the class that was there last year in terms of, it was a historic run of quarterbacks in 2024. This year, it's not good. There was only 2 that went. There was one, it was Cam Ward, and we had to wait a really long time before the New York Giants took Jackson Dart and ultimately did that. But again, the signs were there. None of you paid attention to it. None of you paid attention to it. The Sanders family, Shedeur, they were preparing for this. And I know there was something up on social media that basically he's saying, yeah, we didn't expect this. Like, yeah, you did. You knew this was very possible, that with very few teams like very interested, like what is it? The Browns at 2, and they traded back. They still didn't take you. The Giants sitting at 3 with a clear need at quarterback with a bunch of veterans in their room that are not very good. Russell Wilson is washed. Jameis Winston's an enigma. Tommy DeVito, whatever. So they pass on you at 3 to take the better player in Abdul Carter. Then they trade up to get Jackson Dart. And there were a lot of people that probably had Jackson Dart ahead of Shedeur Sanders. Again, a lot of this is just, like the goggles that are basically blinding you because, hey, it's Dion's kid. He played pretty damn well, but let's also look at the facts. Guy was 13-12 as a Division I quarterback. Went 4-8 in the Pac-12. Went 9-4 this year. They could have easily went to the Big 12 championship, but hey, he lost a couple of games that really, and he did play well in those games that mattered. And again, this is a big reason why I was like, Browns, don't take him at 2. Don't take him just because you need a quarterback doesn't mean you need to go force it. And clearly, the rest of the NFL was on board with this thing because now, hey, we've gotten through a whole entire round, and the first guy who he was measured up to be with people like Mel Kiper, I mean, then there were some other people who were on the complete other side of it. Cam Ward goes 1. Shedeur may be the first pick in the second round. Wild. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. But yeah, it's gonna be a very fascinating situation that plays out for the Colorado quarterback on day 2 of the NFL draft. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys soon.